picture this. You are fast asleep, like totally out for the count.
Oh, yeah.
But in your mind, you're on this desperate, high-stakes mission. You are running down an endless, twisting hallway,
Right.
bursting through doors, scanning every corner, and you're looking for one thing and one thing only, which is a toilet.
We have all been there.
But every single time you find one, there's a catch, right? Like the door is locked or the stall is missing a wall.
Or it's just inexplicably in the middle of a crowded room.
Yes, exactly. The plumbing is ripped out or people are watching you. You keep searching. The panic builds and the physical urgency is getting absolutely unbearable.
It really is.
Until finally your eyes just snap open in the dark. You're awake, you're in your own bed, and you realize with the sudden rush of clarity that you just really, really need to go to the bathroom.
It's just a universally humbling experience. I mean, it's frantic, it's stressful.
It's the worst.
It is. And it's basically just biology entirely overriding your unconscious mind.
Well, see, I've always just blamed that on, drinking way too much water before bed.
Sure, yeah.
But what if I told you that this incredibly mundane, slightly embarrassing biological alarm clock is actually the key to understanding a profound piece of ancient Chinese philosophy?
That is quite the claim.
It is, but that is the mission of our deep dive today. We're unpacking a really fascinating short essay written by a contemporary writer named Xu Feng.
Right, from back in November of 2022.
Exactly. He takes this exact modern biological quirk, the infamous bathroom dream, and he uses it to decode a famous concept from Zhuangzi.
The foundational Taoist sage from, the 4th century BC?
Yep, 4th century BC. And Zhuangzi stated this one thing. He said, the perfected person has no dreams, which later became known as the saint has no dreams.
I mean, it's quite the intellectual leap, isn't it? Moving from a full bladder all the way to the absolute peak of spiritual enlightenment.
Right. Okay, let's unpack this. Because if we follow this logic, it means we need to completely rethink everything we assume about why we dream in the first place.
We do. Because the thesis of Tuifeng's text is incredibly structured. The author is making the argument that dreams aren't just random neurological static.
Like, they aren't just meaningless movies playing in our heads while we sleep.
Exactly. According to this essay, dreams are highly specific, deeply functional indicators of physiological or psychological disturbances.
Wow. So we aren't just entertaining ourselves at night. We are being sent a very targeted message.
A very targeted message, yes.
So let's start right where the author starts, which is with that toilet dream. He uses this as the baseline rule for how our bodies communicate with us when we are unconscious.
Right. And he uses this specific example because, it's undeniable. The logic goes like this. If your bladder isn't full, you simply won't have a dream about searching for a toilet.
Right. You'd just be dreaming about, flying or something.
Exactly. That narrative, that specific desperate scenario, it doesn't just generate itself out of thin air. You only have this dream because your subconscious mind is desperately trying to penetrate your deep sleep.
To alert you that you need to wake up and relieve yourself.
Yes.
It's like your body has a check engine light.
Oh, that's a good way to put it.
Yeah, think about it. You're driving down the highway, everything feels smooth, you're listening to a podcast, but then that little orange icon flashes on the dashboard.
And you instantly know something is wrong under the hood.
Right. The toilet dream is just that light flashing on the dashboard of your mind while you sleep. And the author's point is that if your physiological condition is completely normal, like if the engine is running fine...
The oil is good, tire pressure is perfect.
Exactly. If all that is good, that dashboard remains completely dark.
What's fascinating here is how the author establishes a very strict, almost mechanical cause and effect pattern.
How so?
Well, the essay posits that a completely normal, healthy, balanced body yields absolutely no dreams.
None at all.
Right. It's a silent system. However, the moment a physical issue arises, a corresponding dream is guaranteed to manifest. The text emphasizes that dreams are fundamentally warning signals.
So they're not entertainment, they are diagnostics.
Precisely. The subconscious is playing the role of a night watchman, and when it sees a fire, it rings the bell using the only language it has available.
Which is dream imagery.
Exactly.
But hold on, if every single dream is an alarm bell, aren't we kind of pathologizing completely normal brain activity?
That is a valid critique.
Right. Like, why can't a dream just be the brain emptying its trash bin, just random neurons firing off the events of the day?
That is the modern scientific consensus, certainly. Most neuroscientists would agree with you. But Swefeng's reasoning completely rejects that randomness.
He doesn't buy it at all.
Not at all. According to this text, the imagery matches the physical need perfectly. You need a toilet in real life, so you look for a toilet in the dream.
It's a one-to-one translation.
Exactly. There's an undeniable utility to it. But then, the author scales this concept up, which is where things take a deeply psychological turn.
Right, because if the body uses literal dreams to signal a literal physical need, like a full bladder, how does the mind signal its own distress?
That is the pivot.
Yeah, if the bladder uses a toilet to get your attention, how does anxiety get your attention? And this moves us straight into the author's theories on nightmares.
It does. If a physical disturbance creates a physical dream, then a psychological disturbance creates a psychological dream.
Which makes sense.
The essay provides several really vivid examples of this. People dream of being chased by ghosts, pursued by villains, or hunted by wild beasts.
Or they find themselves trapped in, like, massive natural disasters.
Right, raging floods or sudden
That
landslides.
terrifying cinematic scenarios. I mean, the kind of dreams where you wake up sweating, your heart is pounding out of your chest, and
And it takes you a good 5 minutes to realize you're actually safe.
yeah. Like, you have to tell yourself you are in your own bedroom and not about to be swallowed by a tidal wave. We have all had those.
We definitely have. And the author argues that these nightmare scenarios are direct reflections of inner fears, anxieties, and unresolved psychological stress.
So what does this all mean for us? Are we saying that all our wild, cinematic, action-packed dreams are just symptoms of us being stressed out or mentally disturbed?
According to Zufeng's reasoning, yes. The mind is disturbed, so it generates a disturbing dream to signal that imbalance.
Wow.
But because stress or anxiety are abstract concepts, your subconscious has to build a visual metaphor to get your attention.
Right, because you can't just dream a picture of the concept of anxiety.
Exactly. It's simply swapping out the literal imagery, like the toilet, for a full bladder, for metaphorical imagery, like a monster or a flood.
It's really incredible how the brain acts as an ad hoc screenwriter here. It takes this invisible psychological burden and translates it into a visible, deeply felt warning signal.
That's a great way to describe it.
Yeah, because the emotional weight of the monster chasing you perfectly matches the emotional weight of your waking anxiety, even if the imagery is totally fantastical.
If we connect this to the bigger picture, it's actually a complete 180 from someone like Sigmund Freud.
Oh, totally. Freud was all about suppressed desires.
Right. Freud said dreams were about hidden subconscious wishes. He treated dreams like a puzzle box you had to unlock with therapy.
But Schreffing is taking a completely different route.
Yes. Channeling Zhuangzi, he's saying, no, there is no hidden puzzle here. It's a loud, flashing warning sign of a very current, active imbalance.
The subconscious isn't hiding anything. It is practically screaming at you.
Exactly.
So if a silent mind is the ultimate goal here, that implies the dreams we do have are basically just an itemized list of our flaws.
That is the uncomfortable truth of this essay, yes.
Which brings us to the core philosophy of this entire text. Because if dreaming is always a symptom of a problem, whether it's physical discomfort or psychological distress, then logically,
the ultimate goal of solving all your problems must be a state where you never dream at all.
which is just wild to think about.
It is, but that's the precise logical endpoint of this essay. And it's how Shuofeng brings us back to that 4th century Taoist philosopher, Zhuangzi.
Right, the saint has no dreams.
Yes. The author concludes that the frequency of your dreams directly correlates to your unresolved issues. It is a literal metric.
So a complete absence of dreams means perfect harmony of body and mind.
Precisely. The essay positions dream frequency as a touchstone for measuring your progress in spiritual practice and self-cultivation.
It creates a very clear hierarchy for the reader then.
It does. If you're experiencing frequent chaotic dreams, your spiritual and physical practice is incomplete. You have a lot of unresolved noise.
And if you're having fewer dreams,
That indicates significant improvement and growing balance. And if you reach a state where you experience 0 dreams, where you rarely or never dream at all, that signifies absolute mastery.
here's where it gets really interesting. Think about spiritual cultivation in this context. It's not about achieving some wild, hallucinogenic higher plane of existence.
Not at all.
True saintly mastery isn't about having profound, mystical visions or like downloading secrets from the universe while you sleep.
That is exactly the point.
It's actually like putting on a pair of high-end noise-canceling headphones.
Oh, I like that analogy.
Yeah, imagine you're in a crowded, chaotic airport. People are shouting, announcements are blaring, luggage is rolling everywhere.
Constant noise.
Right. That is your unresolved, uncultivated mind. Putting on those noise-canceling headphones is the practice. It's about dialing down the internal noise of the body and the mind until you hit absolute dreamless zero.
It is the pursuit of perfect emptiness. And it's a deeply countercultural idea, especially in our modern context.
Oh, definitely. We constantly romanticize dreams.
We do. We revere dreamers.
Yeah.
We tell people to follow their dreams. We view vivid dreams as a sign of a rich inner life, of active creativity, of being a visionary.
But this text strips all of that away and argues the exact opposite.
It really does. Dreaming isn't a superpower. It's a symptom of sickness. An absence of dreams is presented as the ultimate flex of physical and mental well-being.
So a silent night means you've conquered your demons and balanced your biology.
Precisely.
It totally flips the script. Like, instead of waking up and thinking, wow, what a cool creative brain I have, you're supposed to wake up and think, man, my spiritual practice is really lagging today. I need to get my act together.
That is the intended takeaway, yes.
But does the author actually give us a way to read that itemized list of our flaws? Like, if dreams are these diagnostic tools for our imperfections, how can we translate our specific nightly visions into actionable feedback?
He does, actually. The author provides a kind of dream dictionary in the essay. It's a list of specific diagnostic scenarios.
Oh, nice.
Yeah, by decoding what you dream about, you can supposedly identify exactly what physical or spiritual maintenance you need to perform.
Okay, let's run through these because some of them are pretty wild. The first one is obvious. Dreaming of eating food.
The diagnosis. You are hungry.
Right. That tracks perfectly with the toilet dream. Your body needs calories. It shows you a buffet.
Precisely. Then the author moves to intimacy. If you find yourself dreaming of intimacy with the opposite sex, even leading to sexual satisfaction in the dream, the text argues this simply indicates a lack of sexual activity in your waking life.
Again, it's a biological drive creating a virtual simulation to address an unmet physical need. Very straightforward.
It is. Then there's one about sleep paralysis, essentially. The author says if you dream of being unable to move your hands or feet, or being unable to speak, it suggests poor blood circulation in your cardiovascular system.
Oh, wow. So the actionable advice here is that you probably just need to adjust your sleeping posture.
Exactly. And this is where that ad hoc screenwriter concept you mentioned earlier perfectly aligns with the text.
How so?
Well, your sensory nervous system flags that your arm is asleep from a bad angle, but your prefrontal cortex, the logic center, is shut down for the night.
So your dreaming brain just invents a terrifying reason for why you can't move.
Yes. The subconscious is integrating real-time sensory data into the dream narrative.
That is incredibly logical. And the next one is a bit more visceral, but equally grounded. The author states that dreaming of feces, or having feces on your hands or feet, is a literal signal that you need to bathe, do laundry, or clean your physical surroundings.
This is very direct.
Yeah, your subconscious is registering a lack of hygiene and forcing you to confront it in a highly unpleasant way.
Exactly. So far, these are all very biologically grounded. Hunger, sex, circulation, hygiene.
Right.
But then the author shifts gears. The essay states that if you frequently dream about a specific person or a certain group of people, it suggests you have unresolved emotional entanglements or karmic debts with them.
Okay, karmic debts, that is a shift.
It is. And then there's this one. Dreaming of wearing new clothes. The author says this indicates that you either lack adequate clothing in real life or are. It means you may soon experience a loss.
Wait, hold on. This is where I have to wave a massive red flag and challenge the text.
I thought you might.
Well, yeah. We just spent this entire deep dive establishing a very tight, logical cause and effect loop. A full bladder equals a toilet dream. Numbness equals a paralysis dream.
Right, the biological alarms.
Those are literal one-to-one biological alarms based on current stimuli. But suddenly, wearing new clothes means an impending loss.
It is a jump.
It's a huge jump. How does my physical body know I'm going to experience a loss tomorrow? It doesn't. How does the author make the leap from basic biological dashboard warning lights to symbolic, almost prophetic fortune-telling? That feels like a massive contradiction to the initial thesis.
Your critique is entirely valid. And honestly, it highlights a fascinating tension in the essay itself.
Yeah, because it feels like two different
It
frameworks.
really does. The author begins with a highly rational, almost physiological framework, treating subconscious like an internal physician. But as the examples progress, the text seamlessly blends those logical physiological responses with much more traditional, cultural, and frankly, superstitious interpretations.
Right, the idea of karmic debts or a dream predicting an impending loss.
Exactly. That completely abandons the strict biological alarm model and dips into mystical folklore.
It's totally breaking the rules it just set up.
Yeah.
You can't have a check engine light that tells you you're going to lose your job next week.
You really can't. However, it's crucial to include the author's final caveat in the text, which addresses this very tension.
Oh, he addresses it.
He does. Zevin concludes the essay by openly admitting, and I quote, "The above analysis is purely my own reasoning and may not be entirely accurate. It is provided for reference only."
Oh, okay. That is interesting.
Yes, the author is acknowledging that this is a philosophical synthesis. It's a personal attempt to bridge the gap between undeniable bodily functions, like the toilet dream, and complex cultural philosophy, like Zhuangzi's saint.
So it's not meant to be a hard science paper.
No, it's an exploration, not a peer-reviewed medical journal. He is taking the biological premise and extending it into the spiritual realm just to see how far it stretches.
That is a very fair disclaimer, and honestly, it makes the essay even more interesting as a thought experiment. Because even if we discard the fortune-telling aspects, the core premise is still incredibly powerful.
It really is.
So, let's bring this all together. What is the ultimate takeaway for you listening right now? The next time you wake up from a wildly vivid dream, instead of just brushing it off or trying to write it down to tell a friend how crazy it was, you might want to pause.
Treat it as a diagnostic check.
Exactly. Check your physical comfort. Are you hungry, cold, sleeping in a weird position? Examine your mental stress levels. Are you ignoring a massive anxiety in your waking life that your brain is trying to force you to look at with a metaphorical flood?
Or even evaluate your spiritual balance.
Right. It reframes the entire experience of sleep. It transforms you from a passive audience member in the theater of your mind into an active listener.
The subconscious is communicating. The question is, are you willing to interpret the signal?
We want to challenge you tonight. Track your dream frequency. When you wake up tomorrow morning, take a mental inventory. Are your nights full of chaotic, cinematic noise?
Or you're getting closer to that quiet, blank slate?
Right. Are you inching closer to the saintly ideal of zero dreams, perfect balance, and absolute silence?
But as you drift off to sleep tonight, I want to leave you with a final thought to mull over. Something not explicitly covered in the text, but deeply inspired by it.
Okay, let's hear it.
Let's assume Zhuangzi and Zufeng are entirely correct. Let's assume the saint has achieved such flawless, perfect physical and mental harmony that they truly no longer dream.
Their mind is just a quiet, empty room, perfectly peaceful.
Exactly. But if that is the ultimate goal, what happens to human inspiration?
Oh, wow.
Think about it. If our unresolved issues, our deep-seated fears, our karmic entanglements, and our physical discomforts are the actual literal engines of our nighttime visions, could it be that human creativity, art, and innovation rely on us being just a little bit wonderfully unbalanced?
That is a brilliant point. Because if perfection means absolute silence in the mind, well, maybe we don't actually want to be perfect.
It's a trade-off.
It really is. Something to think about the next time you find yourself sprinting down that endless hallway, desperately looking for a bathroom.